Jai Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. I'm not sure if my co-host is with me. I don't see. Do we have a co-host today? Narendran Rishi, Prabhu, or Sanjay?
Yes, good morning.
Okay, so you're there, huh?
Yeah, I'm there.
Fine. So I'd like to welcome the devotees who are present. And we'll begin with this is being recorded already, is it?
The cloud storage space for record has finished, Maharaj. So this is being live streamed on YouTube. I will get an offline copy from YouTube after this event.
That should have been checked beforehand, isn't it?
No. Even if I have to do something, then I will have to remove the previous recordings, Maharaj, and that would not be good. So I will in my drive I will store the new recording after I download it from YouTube. This is Zoom's account on drive that is completed.
Okay, we'll discuss that later. In any event, it's going to be recorded.
Yes, Guru.
That's fine. So we'll begin with our regular invocation. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Sakala Shalakaya Chaksuran Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Nivadipasya Satarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. So welcome to our ninth session or ninth module. And that means that tomorrow we will be presenting the last session. This evening, in today's presentation, very often devotees, they ask, do we have any examples of functioning rural communities? Different people talk about the need to establish such communities, but do we have any models? So this evening, I'd like to give a bit of an overview, or not exactly overview, but some insight into a few communities that are, I suppose we could say, different levels of progress in establishing their particular project. We definitely have to meet with many challenges. Some of these we've discussed already. Vast majority of our devotees, as we know, are from urban background. And therefore, there's very less knowledge and experience about such lifestyle, which is, again, agrarian lifestyle. So, so this evening will be like a mixture of a few PowerPoints. A lot of this is connected with some research I did just a few years ago. I mean, in the last couple of years. So it's quite, for most part, quite relevant to our situation today. So we should know that although we don't have a large number, but we do have very dedicated devotees, very concerned devotees, very knowledgeable devotees as well, who are endeavoring to fulfill Srila Prabhupada's 50% of his mission in terms of establish Varnashrama Dharma. And in the West, we speak about farm communities. In many ways, farm communities are, we could say, a stepping stone towards establishing larger communities where there are many families. And I guess we could say a stepping stone towards establishing villages. We have ample references in our Shastra regarding village. We've spoken about this during some of the presentations. We made reference to Gandhi and Srila Prabhupada's appreciation of Gandhi's understanding on village organization and the need to actually in our modern times, looking at the severe destruction that is ongoing because we are deviating. Practically all the countries in the world are deviating from what is meant to be the more standard way of living, the more standard economic development that is meant to be there in the country. So, and this will be, a mixture of some PowerPoints, some interviews, a few videos. I think you'll find it interesting. It will take us to different countries, different projects. And I mean, this is, some of them are very short, like 3 minutes. Some of them are 20 minutes. And we'll cover our session this evening. Hopefully we'll have a little bit of time at the end for any possible questions. So I will share my screen here. I need permission to share my screen. Share screen. Narayana Prabhu, can you kindly give me permission or make me a host? Huh? Okay, yeah, got it. Thank you. Here we go. I will have to go in and out in terms of sharing my screen because, that's the way it is. Okay. I'll just bring this up here. Yeah. Actually, originally I was going to just focus on a few communities. So the title has changed actually a little bit. I will present something on all of these three and a few more. This is shown at every session. And these are the communities, 2 PowerPoints, one covering Sharanagati village in Canada, one, the second one, GITA NAGARI Baru, which means New GITA NAGARI in Indonesia. Then short videos. There will be an interview. One devotee, Bala Krishna Prabhu, actually, been a long time farmer, one of the most active farmers in the project at GITA NAGARI, having various insights. I was actually in covering 10 communities in different countries. I made up a list of 4 or 5 questions. So the same questions were asked to one representative from each country that have to do with their community and related matters as well. Something about from Hungary, although it will be very short. Hungary deserves more time because they have a very well-established project since a number of years. And then another short video for both Indonesia and Ukraine. So this, when we enter, Sharanagati is about 4 hours northeast of Vancouver City, which is the main city in the province of British Columbia, way out in Western Canada. And as one enters the valley, this is the sign that one sees. So I was, last time I went to Canada actually was in 2018 at the beginning of my research. It's quite a large place, as you can see, covering approximately 2,000 acres of land, and is being populated by maybe 30, 40 families over the last possibly more than 40 years. Within the valley, we see one of the lakes. There are 2 or 3 lakes, and cows can graze there. More often than not, neighbors' cows are grazing. We do have some cows. We'll be showing the Goshala as part of this presentation. Devotees have experimented over the years with various construction, and Canada being a country where there's a lot of wood, naturally log houses. This is one of the more recent homes constructed. And these log houses, when properly constructed, can last for a good number of years. They have a temple room where every Sunday the devotees, they gather, and the devotees have their own homes, often built by themselves with the help of others. There are zebu cows, and devotees on Purnima Day perform go puja. And this is a scene from the weekly Sunday feast, like in all temples around the world. Devotees, because it's such a large area, they cannot during the week congregate so easily. Those who are able to, they come together for the Sunday program. Different families prepare some prasadam, some food, which is offered. And then after the arati, Gaura Arati, kirtan lecture, then they partake of the feast. They have their own school. Within the school, they have a library. Outside, close to the school, picnic area, playground. And their school is connected with the, I believe, Department of Education in Canada. Most of the students, not a large number of students, not like in Australia, for example, at New Govardhan. New Govardhan has a very big school, and I believe over 100 students as well, because many families live uh, on the outskirts of that community in New Govardhan. Here in Canada, many, I believe, majority of the students, they study online. I'm not sure if it, well, actually, it was there, yeah, 2018. That was before the era of COVID. Before COVID, they were studying online. Yeah. Canada being Canada, a cold country. So every family, you can see this type of picture. They know that the winter months can be quite long. It's like from December, one can expect snow and a cold. It starts to be cold, of course, before that, and it goes on for quite a few months. So therefore, because there's a lot of wood, a lot of forest, practically every family they heat by wood, similar to other European countries, like in Hungary as well. France has a big forest, Sweden also, Hungary, like that. So forests are important for many reasons, and one of them is, in addition to construction, for heating purposes. Devotees in Canada don't have to plant trees, but in Hungary, devotees planted actually many thousands, if not, I don't know, but a large number, quite a large number of trees, because they have a constant use for that. Well, I had prepared this in the context of my research, and this is one family. They're both yoga teachers. I think the wife is a yoga teacher, I believe. Yeah, Mark and his wife, Sarah. And Sharanagati village over the years has attracted young families to settle there. And it's a mixture of, there's quite a few older disciples of Srila Prabhupada and some younger families as well. Naturally, being taking quite a long time, there's a rule that you can't really or should not plant anything in your garden outside before the end of June, which means that actually the growing season is quite short. So therefore they have greenhouse, and they'll start their work for gardening sometimes in the house itself, or within the greenhouse. And as the weather warms up, then they will plant those various vegetables, etc., in the garden outside. Even in the winter time, just like on the right side here, it's, of course, it's a small picture, but Balakrishna Prabhu's wife collects some of the produce even during the winter. So, like in most parts of Canada, the snow does stay for quite a few months. This is where the devotees congregate. It's actually the whole setup is quite interesting in terms of how they are organized. Many years ago, the devotees, they registered what is called a cooperative, where individuals who want to be part of the community, they they invest in a share. They become shareholders, and for each share, of course, they can only have up to maybe 2, maximum 3 shares. each share allows them to have 5 acres of land. At least that was the system when I became part of that village, being from Canada, and Sharanagati actually being the only community, the only Vaishnav community in all of Canada. So I had a strong desire quite some years back to be a member. So I have a plot of land in the southern part. Of course, I up to now I've stayed just a very short time, but each share therefore is like 5 acres of land. And one devotee actually donated his share to ISKCON. The whole project actually initially was purchased by ISKCON. There were difficulties in terms of fully paying for the property, and then devotees got together and actually purchased or paid the necessary Lakshmi, and that's when they established this cooperative. So this is where the pictures we saw a little earlier about the temple scene take place. And these are, well, amazingly enough, again, 2018 is when I was there. They have this Surabi cow. I mean, her name is Surabi, and she is a Gir cow. Gir cows that we find in India, which is unusual for Canada. But in the Western countries, whether it's a US or Canada, other countries as well, they will, for various motivated reasons, import either cows, or very often nowadays embryo or sperms. And so this Surabi cow was in one place called, more or less like in the prairies, western side of Canada, I believe Alberta, one of the provinces. So anyways, at that time, she was not yet a mother, but last year, the devotees have been, because it's very rare to find Gir cows in Canada, but one family on the eastern side in Ontario were having started a project. They also had Gir cows. And so it was arranged that a bull actually visited or came and stayed for some time. So our Surabi became pregnant, and she has delivered a calf actually last year. In addition to that, actually, some local farmers who wanted to start a dairy business and who had also imported somehow, I don't have the details, some Gir cows. So we have 2 additional Gir cows. We have 4 of them. On the left side, these are Zebu cows with a hump on the back. And although they're very small, they're helping with a small chariot like that. Even they're helping to plow. Naturally, as in all temples, devotees gather together, associate with the family members. And it's one of the larger houses with a nice big hall. So devotees perform kirtan like that. Yes. DTs, we have DTs of Gornitai. And these are just a few short scenes. This is the greenhouse of one devotee who was my neighbor, actually, Ramnath, in the southern part of the valley. And there are many such greenhouses throughout the valley. Most devotees have maybe not quite as large as this one, but they have some greenhouse. Everyone has, what do they call it? Root cellar. Yeah, root cellar. Because devotees have to, the community is quite in the interior, and it's not like city folks I mean, devotees in the cities or people in general, they'll go to the market and buy their food, which is in the wintertime imported from outside the country. So devotees naturally um, they have a root cellar where many of their produce that they grow. They do some canning also, and this was quite common in previously in Canada. So in this way, they keep various vegetables for the entire winter season, like that. Yeah, these a few scenes. That's the name of the valley, actually, Venables Valley. Mm. And very beautiful view, both sunrise, sunset, very attractive, um, very scenic. Yeah. So this basically covered Sharanagati village. The official name registered is Sharanagati village, incorporated, something like that. Now we're going to go to Indonesia, GITA Nagari Baru. This is not as long, established as in Canada, but it is since let's see, it's over 20 years, whereas Sharanagati village is like more around 40, as I mentioned earlier. Yeah, I'll just cover a brief history, temple scenes, etc. So that after this presentation, we can see a few interviews or short videos of other projects. So it was established in 1997, covering about 60 hectares, 150 acres. Now it's gone up a little bit. Devotees have invested in other land. About closest between 40 and 45, 50 families reside there, 150 or so devotees. These are the facilities. I mean, it took a number of years to gradually build up. The first year, which was, I believe, maybe 1996 or 1997, when the devotees acquired the land. I mean, my godbrother, Gormandal Bhumi Prabhu, and I were encouraging devotees at that time who were just students. There's a whole nice history, which is explained actually in one of the books that I put together some years back, called Make Vrindavan Village, Make Vrindavan Villages, actually. So we have a temple, a school, library, guest house, gosala, residential facilities. Every house has a good amount of land where they have a few fruit trees, where they have a small garden, they can grow things. And the land, basically, the whole project is divided into like a residential area of 50 acres, agriculture area, another 50 acres, and then forest area, 50 acres, like that. So some devotees have maybe 1 acre of land or 1 hectare of land. Some don't have land; they only have the land where their house is built. So it will be like that naturally in any country or in any community. You're going to have some devotees, some members who will be more opulent, will have more facilities, more abilities, etc. Yeah, but it has come up very nicely. I made some reference to this community a few times during our presentation. Yeah, that is recognized by the government, etc. These are a few temple scenes. Since the very beginning, we had Gaurnitai deities, and then shortly after that, Shri Radharaman deities were installed along with Lalita and Vishaka Devi. So that's one altar. Then there is the Gaurnitai altar. These Gaurnitai were there from the very, very beginning, when there was practically nothing in Gita Nagari, yes. And there's also Prahlad Lakshmi Narasingha. As a matter of fact, yeah, I was sent a video, very nice video. Maybe I can show it tomorrow, actually. Because they celebrated Narasingha Chaturdasi. And we have two temples in Indonesia where we have such murtis. Both one is in Gitanagari, the other one is near Calcutta on another island. And these were carved actually by a Muslim person in, I believe, on the island of Java. Yes. So yeah, we had to look at the two altars. They have a system whereby every day a family is assigned to cook for the deities, to render service for the deities. So because there are many families, so they each get a chance. So maybe once a month or so, one particular day is assigned to the entire family. Practically every family has some children, so when they're sufficiently grown up, they also help in terms of maybe collecting flowers or making garlands on that particular day, etc., like that. This is the temple hall. This is the picture. Yeah, in the middle, they have a short, compressed morning program. They actually start Mangalarti at 4:10, similar to here in Mayapur, no, in Vrindavan. In Vrindavan, maybe similar thing here in Mayapur, I'm not sure. In Vrindavan, anyone who has been to Vrindavan at 4:10, there is Srila Prabhupada's, I mean, there's Mangalarti in Srila Prabhupada's Samadhi Mandir. And then the devotees by 4:30, it's a kind of a condensed or short Mangalarti. They come to the temple at 4:30 in Vrindavan. So we don't follow that exactly. We just have the basic Mangalarti, which is followed immediately by Srimad Bhagavatam class, so that the whole morning program is finished early enough so that devotees who have land can go early enough to attend to their work. Yeah. And yeah, this was in front of the temple. This is again in the temple where the devotees, this is how they finish their morning program, by having a Guru Puja. They don't have Murti of Srila Prabhupada, they just have picture of Prabhupada. But very nice temple, which I believe this was, since this picture, it was renovated. Well, yeah. Yes, I mean, because our time is a little short here. They also have a Yagyashala in front of the temple. Let's see here. Yeah, very often they'll have perform some different samskara. And this is the Yagyashala on the left. Quite nicely done. Many of our devotees, originally from Bali, especially in Bali, devotees or Indonesian people are very good at, very artistic and very good in decoration, etc. Yeah. Yes, they'll perform Jagya for Shraddha ceremony. This one particular devotee is the son of initiated devotee, so he grew up basically in this village, Gita Nagari. They're very good at performing kirtan, very talented musically in many ways. Some of the temples have like kirtan groups, very colorful, brings people together. Yeah. This particular ceremony was, one of the devotees, his daughter met with some accident, passed away, and then they performed this jagya. I happened to be there at the time. They celebrate various festivals by taking out the deities in procession. Yes. Just like recently for Narashingesar Churdasi. They made a nice video of that as well. And they take the deities around the village. They stop in front of each home where the members of that family have a table ready with a arati. They offer their produce from their land and perform arati like that. Very nice ceremony. And yeah, this was last year actually when a few devotees from India had joined us in the month of December. So it's just like a few months back. These particular photos, yeah. And these are the tables, as we can see. They're waiting for the procession to come, and they'll be performing simultaneous to save some time. Otherwise, yeah, it goes on for quite a long time. Yes. Devotees love to chant, love to dance, and as I mentioned, they're very expert musicians, artists, etc. So it's a very ideal community in so many ways because we have devotees who have been there from the very beginning, who were brahmacharis at the time. I'm talking about like year 2000, 1999. And they have since, married. And so we're looking at like 20 years down the line. And so some of them had children, in the early development of the community. And some of these children are now grown up and have gotten married. So some of our initial devotees are becoming like grandparents already. It goes quite fast. There's a sannyas kutir. Usually I stay here. Any senior devotee can reside there. It's very close to the temple, very convenient. And it was a group photo when devotees came from India in December last year, as I mentioned. Yeah. This is a sample of prasadam. When we were there in December, all of the preparations were made from the gardens. They also have, there's a cultural hall in addition and a library having their own plot of land. So it's quite spacious, yeah. They also, this is interesting, they have, since many years, practically since the beginning, one devotee happens to be a martial art expert, and he teaches devotees as well as outside people. And his name is Trivikrama, well known in the area. So both men and women actually take lessons in martial arts, and just a few short scenes of what they are doing. Before any session, they actually run around to practice. So they have devotees who are, well, anyone who knows a little bit about martial arts. They have a whole gradation system. Those who are a senior, they'll have different color dress or different color belt. So like this, they warm up before they actually begin their practice. So because we were there, they had some special, we could say, display of some of the things they are learning. We'll see this here. Warm up, yeah. And then some of the children, of course, they like to watch, and some of them eventually become. Most of these are devotee residents of our community. And of course, I'm not showing this like full picture, but it's just giving a little idea. Posture demonstration, yeah. So they play some kind of background music. I think it's like some psychological. It's like when you go to get a massage, or they'll have some very smooth, peaceful type of music. Okay, our devotee is explaining a little bit here. Kind of like martial art practice or background music. Some of these devotees, they will at times participate in tournaments as well. So naturally, this is one aspect of martial arts, which is very much part of the Vedic culture. Yeah. Spine resistance. I mean, they really kick, you know. They practice on a regular basis. Yeah. And we continue here. This is called neck, I call it neck resistance. Yeah, because they're going to smash. Some of you might have seen these before. They'll break some of these tiles on their head. It's all connected with proper breathing. It's you know it's a part of the whole martial arts scene. Yeah, how to control and concentrate the energy. Yeah, these are two, I think, together. I mean, I'm sure some of you have seen things much more elaborate. Yeah. One piece was left. And the other one is in regards to, let's go here, stomach resistance. It's kind of interesting. The two persons will be there and they'll put the devotee will kind of make his body straight and the muscles of the stomach are meant to be strong and tight, and they will be putting a this brick, and then with a kind of a big hammer or something will break it, actually. Not to be tried on ordinary stomach, I would say. Yeah. So he's also preparing himself so he'll be coming up in a few seconds here, I guess. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Anyways. So then we go to, same thing, and balance resistance. Anyways, we won't spend more time on this, but this is giving some, right. Just a quote here. So you have to become an ideal society, live locally, be self-sufficient. They will see that it is possible, etc. Like that. One of the many quotes given by Srila Prabhupada. I need to get out of my, let's see, 8:47. Yeah. I will stop sharing for a second here. And let's see, I will need to share again. I'd like, I have to select, I have 4 items that, I need to choose from. One small second. I'll close this presentation. Yeah. And then 20 minutes. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, let's go to Ukraine. One devotee has a community there called Mother Farm. He has one in Ukraine. His name is Yamuna Pran. This is his community. A few families are there, very active, having a number of cows. And both some of the devotees and other villagers, they take turn in taking the cows out for pasture. They have a whole system. It's interesting that in Ukraine, up until recently, they still had land, what they call in India, Gochar Bhumi. For land for grazing. I came to know some years back that it's part of the Constitution of India. It was, still is, I believe, but it's not being followed, that every village needs to have a certain amount of land put aside for cows to graze. Because as we have discussed and learned, so they also have these systems, because Ukraine also does get cold. They milk by hand. We'll wait to see what comes out of it. Yeah. Dr. Maxim. So they have a fair amount of land. They're always, more recently, acquiring more land because the government at present, due to the situation in Ukraine, they are taking land that was previously set aside for cows, similar to what happened in India. So they're storing grass for the winter. This was the traditional, yeah. They invite devotees from different places for some festivals so that devotees can get some association with the cows and come to know a little bit about rural life, etc. I'm just going to go ahead here a little bit. Yeah. Whoops. Yeah. So basically, yeah, this gives a little overview of Hamsi is the name of his bull. When you scratch it, he rolls his eyes. He's very fond of his, yeah. So this is in Hungary, and I will stop sharing my screen here. Let's see, just maybe one more so that we can possibly have some interaction here. So I'm against sharing the screen. Let's see, where can we, yeah. Indonesia, this is a short video. Bala, yeah. Gora Hari Temple, that's in Bali. They have beautiful deities of Sisi, Radha Madhava. Beautiful temple. It was actually donated by one devotee. The devotees built it, of course. Very artistically carved altar. They have about 25 families living as a community. They have regular programs. They're very happy living together. They help one another in so many different ways. His name is Yoginath, very good singer.
Guru Maharaj, no sound.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, there is no audio.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj.
Yes,
The audio is not being played, Maharaj.
audio is not being played.
No, we are able to see only the video.
Oh, okay. Then we'll stop it. Yeah. Okay. Hare Krishna, I was just told that the audio is not coming. I just now came to find out. Anyways, we're in our last session here. If something like this happens, it's good if I'm informed right away. In any event, I tried to, as I explained in the beginning of the presentation, to give this evening a little bit of a short insight into, a few communities. This particular, like Indonesia, the main community that we have is on another island called Sumatra, where the power presentation in the beginning was dealing with that community, and the one we just saw now, that unfortunately you could not hear the audio, was from Bali, which is of course another island and a smaller community. At that time, we had 14 families. Now they have about over 20 families, and the community is doing quite nicely. If there's any comments or questions, I have various footage of different communities, and to me, it's like obvious, and it is something I try to share with other devotees as well. How when we stick to something, to stick to some particular project, it's like, in our personal lives, when we stick to some particular service, then in due course of time, things will actually evolve and develop. So the same thing is there in terms of establishing communities. We have devotees. I wanted to share also an interview with this devotee in Sharanagati, but the time is not allowing, sharing their realizations. So we have, even though not a large number of communities, we have devotees who have very deep realizations and deep convictions as well of the need and the importance to establish such communities. And I encourage all of you who are a part of this GITA NAGARI presentation to open communication. That's a nice way, practical way to know about what's happening in other places, and hearing from devotees who especially have been part of any community like that. So anyone would like to share any thoughts on this today? Yes, Vadamali, Prabhu, please.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
That video you showed, that is available on YouTube?
Probably, I would have to check, actually. I can share it. I can arrange to share it on our group. Actually, I should probably correct that. Our group is a WhatsApp group, and it's more easily I can share it on the Telegram group. So because my experience is that most devotees are possibly less familiar with Telegram, but Telegram has, at least my observations, better facility for sharing videos like that. Um, I'll see if I can find any reference on the internet, YouTube, and if so, I will share it. If not, I will inform the devotees how possibly they can get to see this particular video. This devotee, this was taken some years back. This particular video in Bali, and the devotee speaking, his name is Kishora Krishna, very active since many years, and he was very nicely sharing his realizations. So that community has continued to expand, and as I mentioned, it's well over 20, maybe close to 25 families living there now. So I'll try to get back on that. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, done.
Yes, Adibo. Any other thoughts or comments? Okay, Shaswata Prabhu. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, it seems in all these videos, the farm communities have plenty of land in their possession. So
The last plenty of land.
yes, Maharaj.
No, you weren't listening carefully. This last, the last video we saw, they have 25 families. They're on less than 5 acres of land.
Okay.
So that particular family, that particular community has much less land, but some of the others have more land. I mean, it varies. I'm sorry. So go ahead. Anyways, what's the point you would like to make?
Yeah. So my point was like, as like in India, like there's a plenty of population and land has become really rare commodity. I mean, it's very expensive. So, like if we have to establish such farm communities in India, how to go ahead about this, Maharaj?
Naturally, to establish any community, as we mentioned before, there's two ways. One, because there's still so many villages, you can just start visiting a village with the idea of maybe being part of that village, because in that village, there's already families, and it's a question of, well, we have been preaching in India for many years, and there are, I'm sure, definitely, some villages where there are already a number of devotee families, for example. So this is one option which should be looked into by being part of an existing village. Then you could possibly acquire some land there as well. And of course, the other alternative is to look for land. Yes, it's a common, that's the reality of the situation. Land over the years, land always becomes more expensive. But we have devotees who, if they come together, they can get some land, and our problem is that as devotees we have waited for way too long, I would say, and therefore we are faced with a more complex situation where we are much less acquainted or aware. So therefore, about what activities we would be taking up in the farm community. But there are still lands. I mean, I'm in a place, I'm in Mayapur right now. And of course, the immediate area around Mayapur is extremely expensive. But if one goes some distance away, one can still find I'm sure in many places throughout India, some land that is still quite accessible. So one has to do some more homework, I would say, in that respect. Yeah. Okay, Prabhu. Yes. Somebody, yeah, difficult for me to check the chats here at the same time, but oh, somebody wants the video sent at the Telegram number. Actually, if devotees send their Telegram number, then we could make for the purpose of sharing. Actually, one thing I can mention to all of you, these different PowerPoint presentations, I can make those available after some time, and it would be better to actually share it on through Telegram. And what I can ask actually my assistant, Naranarayan Rishi Prabhu, who has the contact, especially of those devotees who have been like, more regular. Maybe he can ask your permission if you want to be part of a Telegram group, same group, to receive material, either this particular video or other PowerPoints that make up this presentation here. So I believe we have Dhanalata Prabhu. I
Yes,
believe
Hare
you're-
Krishna.
yes, yes,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna. Replying to the last comment, person who just asked your question about land.
Mm,
Srila Prabhupada is clear on that point. Although land is vital, it's vital, we have to have it. But he
yes,
said that first of all, we organize, we get the people together, and then we get the land. And he said that very clearly, and he repeated it. The most important thing is to start organizing, and
mm,
we can do that and then once we organize, then it's easier to get the land, because then we have more force of people getting together to get the land.
correct. Good point. Yes, because ultimately community means X number of families. It's not just a one, one or two families. Any additional comments from anyone? Okay. Yes, please.
I was wondering, you're talking about giving the videos, making the videos available. And what I would like very much is the outline that you use to give this class, to give this seminar. If that's available, the outline that you used, written down, do you have that? Is that available?
Well, the outline you're referring to the way it was presented, because I mean each presentation has a content list.
Yes.
And-
Early on, you were using the content list and that presenting it in outline form and then speaking from that outline. And I was wondering if that outline form printed is available.
We can make it available. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Yeah. Gornitai Prabhu. Yes.
Hare Krishna. I would like to add something, because we saw videos and we saw pictures, but we don't see the devotee's mind who are living there.
You don't see the devotee's mind.
Mind, yeah. What is their concept? What is their, inspiration? What is their motivation to live in country? I know many persons who hate to live in city, and they can come together and they start to live in country, but it's nothing to do with the Varnashram Dharma. And there's nothing to do with stabilizing, the society, which could build a nice atmosphere to practice Krishna consciousness really fully. So I would like to mention two things. The one is the vision, long-term vision, and another is the constitution. Vision shows why the people, devotees, came together and why they come together and what they want to do. They want to behave like a Brahminical family, Brahminical village, or an agricultural village. They want to worship really in the center, the deities, or they want to have just nice family, association, have different, deities at home, for example. So there are much different concepts. So, and that will depend, and then the concepts will decide what will happen in long term and how they will go closer to the Varnashram, some kind of Varnashram situation, because Varnashram will make sure that they will be stabilized. They will be like India, because of the Varnashram is a much longer civilization than any other in the country. So if societies want to become like civilization, long-term civilization, they want to come closer and closer to the idea of Varnashram. So I would like to see that in different parts of the world, how they come closer to the Varnashram system, Varnashram understanding of Varnashram.
Yes, yes. Well, it's already, I mean, it's always difficult to see or to read the minds of people, and obviously that's something we cannot see directly on the video, but I think you're making a good point. I would say that a community, because I've been to this community whenever I go to Bali, that's where I am based actually, and I know a number of the devotees who are there. Within any community, within any country, there will be different types of devotees. There will be different levels of realization, etc. I would say that the simple fact that, and this was being outlined by the devotee speaking, Kishora, Prabhu Kishora, he was making the point how the devotees, one of the main reasons they got together was that they could be together as devotees and nicely, easily practice their Krishna consciousness. I would say that by that very activity, then this vision, this larger vision, this long-term vision, so to speak, will gradually evolve. But vision is something that is within generally the domain of those who are, visionaries, those who are more leader type of devotees, which is just a small a number or small percentage of any community. So I guess one would have to, some devotees are just happy getting an opportunity to live with devotees, to attend Mangal Arati every day, to send their kids to a school where the teachers are devotees and where the students are all devotees, as we have in our community in Sumatra. That's another village, a much larger village. But yes, the point you're making is important in terms of the more our devotees can visualize and understand, like Prabhupada's long-term vision of what Varnashram is all about. And I think by devotees being together, by reading and hearing Prabhupada's instructions related especially to Varnashrama, that this type of vision gradually, I would say, will evolve and gradually manifest itself. There's a need to have continued education, continued exchanges amongst devotees, and especially those in leadership position. But we want as many devotees as possible to develop that kind of as broad vision as possible, which, if I understand correctly, is what you're referring to, which is something important as well. I think we are at the end of our session. Is that okay?
Just one moment.
Okay, yes, Prabhu.
I would offer two things from Krishna Valley, Hungary. We have a constitution, which is really for 5 years, a group of devotees worked on that.
Mhm.
And this is for the whole yatra, and that's mostly focusing on the vision of the Krishna Valley, which is a 50 years vision. We can check if we go closer or not. We can modify it for next 50 years. So I can share it. I can send it to you, and then
Okay.
you can see. Like in one example, when they have a board vision and they have some kind of constitution for living together.
Yes, okay. Yeah, that'll be nice to share because Krishna Valley devotees have been working on this for a good number of years, and they are speaking about these things, formulating, and I think it'll be very interesting for our devotees to hear about that. Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, Hare Krishna. So once again, thank you to all the devotees for attending. Tomorrow will be our last session, and we'll keep a sufficient, good half an hour at the end of the session for some possible feedback. And anyways, tomorrow we'll try to wrap things up and possibly offer some practical ways in which there can be some follow-up to different subject matters that we discussed in our sessions. Once again, thank you all very much. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Dada.